to the education sector as a whole. And of course, there are the central government agencies. We have their career services, career, education review office, Ministry of Education, National Library, New Zealand Qualifications Authority, New Zealand Teachers Council, Tertiary Education Commission. Now, what are these for? And what are the other educational institutions for? So, of course, to achieve their goals, they have to, the education institutions, the education systems, and the central government agencies should have partnerships. They should work together in order for the productivity of the education, in order for the good outcome for their education. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have there ICT Strategic Framework for Education in New Zealand. Okay, so before we proceed to the purposes, let us first define the word ICT. Okay, so ICT, or Information and Communication Technology, includes all communication and application device, encompassing radio, television, cellular phones, computer and network hardware and software, and so on, involving those video conferencing and telecommunication. Okay, so let's now proceed to the purpose. So the purpose of the ICT Strategic Framework for Education in New Zealand is to provide the mechanism to guide and coordinate ICT investments towards the government's vision of improved education outcomes. Okay, so as can be observed, the very goal of the ICT Strategic Framework of New Zealand is, of course, the improvement of their education outcomes. Next slide. Okay, so we have the New Zealand is working with a Joint Information System Committee, or JISC, Higher Education ICT UK, and the Australian Department of Education, Science and Training on the International E-Framework for Education and Research. So E-Framework, electronic framework. Okay, so we are now in the vision of the New Zealand. First, their vision is to improve learning achievements in an innovative education sector, to be fully connected and supported by the smart use of ICT. Okay. Okay, so here are their goals. First, more learner-centered education system. So, speaking of more learner-centered, so learner-centered, for example, in classroom setting, we have that, meaning the learners are the ones who would discover the knowledge. The teachers there function as the facilitator for the students. So the teachers will not actually extend their help to the students. Instead, the students will be the one to discover what they are actually wanting for. Okay, second, more informed decision making. So, decision making, ladies and gentlemen, is actually decision making among or within the sector of learners, teachers, parents, communities, businesses, public, policymakers, and administrators. Of course, they should have the informed decision making in order to avoid conflict, right? Third, we have the increased ease and access opportunity. So, of course, they all want to be easily, or they have an increased ease, and they can have the opportunity to access whenever they are, whatever they want, and so on. Four, increased confidence, capability, and capacity. So they also have that increased confidence. So confidence meaning when you're confident, you can have your chin up, right?
Yeah.
So when you're confident, you are capable. You are able to do that thing. You have the capacity. You are capable of doing that certain thing. Okay, fifth, we have greater opportunities for the generation, application, and sharing of new ideas and technology. So, in New Zealand, they also want to generate their ideas. So, their ideas, of course, should be applied so that it cannot be wasted. And after it is applied, there is that sharing of ideas. So they are not selfish. Next, we have more effective and efficient investment in ICT. Okay, so the question is, how are they going to achieve this goal? The first one is develop a more learner-centered service culture. So, of course, their first goal was is to have more learner-centered education. So, in order to achieve their goals, they have to develop a more learner-centered service culture where education agencies focus on the outcome and not the technology. Meaning, they will focus on the results. What will be the consequences when they do this and do that, not about the technology. Second, recognize successful design, development, and implementation. Now, the New Zealanders will recognize that successful design, development, and implementation is much as about people, not as about technology. Third, we have the access easily to and between systems and information. Okay, so there they can have the ease access to and between the system of information. Next. Number 5. Have coherence through open standards. So coherence meaning there is harmony between the two.